Hey everyone, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, Global Leaders and the Digital Popularity Reality. We are going to unpack something truly fascinating about the modern world of global leadership. We're living in an era where influence isn't just measured by physical rallies, handshakes, or traditional television broadcasts anymore. It's increasingly measured in clicks, likes, and follows. Today, we're going to look at the true, unprecedented scale of digital footprints among world leaders. We hear a lot about politicians on social media, sure, but when you actually sit down and analyze the raw data, the sheer volume of their reach is going to absolutely blow your mind.
289 million. Now, when you hear a massive figure like that, your mind probably immediately goes to national populations, right? You might reasonably think this is the number of citizens in a sprawling, highly populated country. But actually, it isn't. This staggering figure represents the combined digital footprint of just a single world leader. We're looking at an individual's direct line of communication to a group of people so large, it fundamentally challenges our traditional understanding of scale and audience.
Which brings us to a pretty wild question. Can a single leader's online followers actually exceed the population of an entire country? Well, the short answer, as we're about to see, is a resounding yes. And this reality forces us to completely rethink what political influence looks like today. When a leader can simply pull out their smartphone and instantly broadcast an unfiltered message to an audience literally larger than most sovereign nations on Earth, we have undeniably entered a completely new era of global communication.
Section 1. The ultimate benchmark. Narendra Modi.
Let's establish the current global ceiling for this kind of digital reach, starting right at the top with India's Prime Minister. What's truly interesting here is the breakdown across different digital ecosystems. We aren't just looking at a politician who happens to have gone viral on one single app. We are looking at comprehensive, cross-platform dominance. On X, formerly Twitter, Prime Minister Modi has approximately 107 million followers. Over on Instagram, a highly visual and entirely different type of platform, he commands a massive audience of 102 million. Moving over to Facebook, he sits at roughly 50 million, and even on YouTube, a platform that generally requires a bit more viewer commitment for longer-form video content, he has around 30 million subscribers. It's this unwavering consistency across these four distinct major platforms that sets this global benchmark so incredibly high.
When we add all of those major platforms together, we arrive back at that awe-inspiring figure we started with, a total digital reach of approximately 289 million. To really put that into perspective, this combined digital audience effortlessly surpasses the populations of the vast majority of existing nations on the globe today. It is just a truly staggering concentration of digital attention focused entirely on one political figure.
Section 2. The closest challenger, Donald Trump.
So you're probably wondering, who actually comes close? Let's shift our focus to the closest global contender in this space, America's Donald Trump, to see how his numbers stack up. This brilliantly illustrates just how tight the race can be on specific platforms. Specifically on X, we have Narendra Modi at roughly 107 million and Donald Trump right on his heels at approximately 105 million. On this particular network, the two leaders are virtually neck and neck. It shows that for text-based, rapid-fire political messaging, both figures have cultivated massive, deeply engaged audiences that rival each other perfectly.
But watch what happens when we zoom out to the rest of the digital landscape. While Trump is incredibly competitive on X, the gap really widens on the other networks. His Instagram following sits at about 43 million, Facebook at 35 million, and YouTube at 3 million. When you tally his numbers up across these four major platforms, his total digital reach comes to roughly 186 million. It's undeniably a massive number, one of the largest in the world for sure, but contrasting it with our benchmark shows exactly where the differences in total global reach are won and lost, specifically in visual media and long-form video platforms.
Section 3. Global Leaders' Digital Reach. Let's zoom out even further and look at the broader global context. Where do other prominent world leaders, specifically key figures in Europe and Eurasia, stand in this rapidly evolving digital arena? Well, it builds a pretty clear picture. We see a steep, dramatic drop-off from the 100 million-plus club down to the double digits. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan holds a very strong presence with a combined reach of roughly 46 million across X, Instagram, and Facebook. Moving westward, France's President Emmanuel Macron follows with a total digital reach of about 23 million, and Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni commands an audience of roughly 11 million. These are highly influential global leaders shaping international policy, right? Yet their digital footprints, while substantial in their own right, look completely different in scale compared to the very top of the chart. It really highlights just how rare that hundreds of millions tier actually is.
Section 4. Surprising social media facts.
Let's pivot slightly and look at the specific, mind-bending realities that these massive digital popularity numbers create in our modern world. Here are 3 incredible milestones derived directly from the data. First, Narendra Modi is among the very first active world leaders to cross the 100 million follower mark on Instagram. That's a historic first for political digital engagement. Second, as we touched on earlier, just as Instagram followers alone exceed the total populations of many entire countries. Think about that for a second. One app, one single account, completely outnumbering nations. And third, while nearly every major leader on Earth uses social media today as a standard, required tool of the trade, Modi consistently tops the global charts for digital popularity. This level of sustained digital engagement is truly unprecedented.
Section 5. Popularity versus reality.
Okay, but before we get totally lost in these massive numbers, we need to bring this explainer back down to earth for a critical reality check. What do these metrics actually mean in the real world? Well, we have to draw a very clear, neutral line between digital metrics and political reality. In the digital realm, we have online popularity, your follower counts, your likes, and your overall digital reach. But in reality, we have actual electoral support at the ballot box and the success of day-to-day governance. It is absolutely vital to understand that success in the digital realm does not automatically guarantee success in the physical one.
The crucial point here is captured perfectly in this quote from our source material. Social media followers show online popularity, but they are not direct proof of electoral support or governance success. This is such an important disclaimer. We're analyzing data about who holds the biggest megaphone online, impartially looking at the raw numbers. But as consumers of information, we have to remember that going viral or having millions of subscribers doesn't equal guaranteed votes, nor is it a reliable measure of effective policy. It is simply and strictly a measure of digital reach.
And that brings us to the end of our analysis, leaving us with one final, provocative question. As internet access continues to expand globally and populations grow, will any other world leader ever break this staggering 289 million digital record in the coming years? Or have we already seen the absolute peak of individual political reach online? It's a fascinating thought to chew on as the digital landscape continues to evolve. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the data around you.